Welcome into the official. We've got a great show for you this week, as usual. And what we're going to do is mock draft 4 part 2. So basically, mock draft 4.2. We might start calling it that. I think we've been calling it 4.0 part 2, but that doesn't really make sense. Let's call it 4.2. As the season's progressed, every mock has looked a little bit different as we have gone up and down on players and cooled and warmed on different guys. And so it's been pretty exciting. I think it's been a really good exercise, and hopefully you're enjoying it too. But without further ado, this week, mock draft 4.2. Let's get it. This is the official. Okay, here we go. First, we'll get, the bookkeeping out of the way. Home Field Apparel is an excellent brand we have partnered with. You've probably heard this before, but you never know when it's the first show for somebody. But I'll keep it short. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Check out all their awesome vintage-inspired college apparel. It's not just football, and it's not even just Power 5 teams. We're talking about St. Peter's. We're talking about Colorado School of Mines. All these different obscure, from the ridiculous to the sublime, college teams and programs with all sorts of creative apparel, going back for old logos and motif to the most recent. So check it out. Shirts, pants, hoodies, hats, the whole 9 yards. And, when you go there, if it's your first time, put in Campus 2, the number 2 Canton, and you will get 15% off your first purchase. Also, you got to go check out campus2canton.com. I'd be shocked if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube and you've never been to campus2canton.com, but you should go. Memberships start as little as $2.99 per month, and you're going to get tools, rankings, all sorts of player predictive models to help you set your lineup, to help you make some bets if you want to, as little as $2.99 per month, and going up from there depending on how many bells and whistles are right for you. That's campus2canton.com. Now, into our weekly content here, we're going to talk about a mock draft. And I introduced it a little bit before. We're going to bring up the mock draft machine that Matt has so nicely made for us and really able to keep track of these names. And if you look there, you'll see on the left-hand side our rounds 1 and 2 for this mock 4.0. You had Mylan Graham go number 1, Mika Hudson number 2, and so on. And we were looking at it last time, and you've got a lot of guys that rose up the ranks. You've got a lot of green there, some double-digit green, meaning they're drafted that many spots above where they were last time, so they're risers. And then a few fallers, and then a lot of fallers, I'm guessing, may come into play here in the 3rd and 4th round, so we will see. It's my first pick at 301. I am going to take Draylon Miller, a guy that I've taken as high as the 1st round before. I still really like him. He is uncommitted, projected right now to Texas A&M, but LSU and Florida, I believe, are still nibbling on his recruitment. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. And yeah, five spots lower than last time, but I think still a pretty good player, pretty exciting player. David, 3.02. Where are you going? We've all struggled with this class, but we got to pick somebody.
Yeah, running out of tier 2 guys for me. I guess I'll go with Mike Matthews. He definitely has a high upside. He's really athletic. There's questions about his movement, and I don't know, his production's not anything crazy either, but hopefully at the very least we get some fun college production in that Tennessee offense, although their offense hasn't been as good this year. But with Nico in there, hopefully they pick things up. So I'll go with Matthews.
Because it's a recruiting show, we haven't talked about Tennessee too much, but in college fantasy, And I wonder in dynasty or in Devy circles and stuff, if people are looking at that Tennessee offense, it was supposed to be bombs away with Joe Milton, Squirrel White, and it's been just clunky. It's been really not that exciting. So I don't know if it's Joe Milton's the issue, which begs the question, why isn't Nico getting a look? So we'll see. We'll see where that Tennessee offense goes. I mean, who would have thought Hendon Hooker was the engine? But it looks like maybe he was last year. And or Jaylen Hayes. All right, Matt. 3.03.
Yeah, I'm going to go Terrence DJ Moore here. The other wide receiver going to Clemson, I imagine in most drafts, Wesco will go higher. I think they're on a pretty equal level of talent, so I think it's really a coin flip who really becomes the guy there next. Clemson obviously has not been, a team that's good. I couldn't think of a word. I mean, their offense has been miserable. It doesn't make me excited about any of these players going there, but I think he's a good player, so I'm just willing to bet on that upside here.
All right. Yeah, and you got to wonder a little bit. I mean, we are getting late into the process here, but is Clemson going to have some attrition? Because you're right, they don't look good on offense. Dabo is being Dabo in the media. And it's just that whole program just really looks like it's been crumbling a little bit for the last few years, but now it just, it really seems to be tanking. I just wonder if they're going to keep this, all these recruits in the bucket for this year. So we'll see what happens there. All right. It's my turn. And I'm going to go with a guy just because I don't know when, David might pick him. And I just want to lock him in because there's not a lot of quarterbacks I love in this class. And I think Hoshane Haney can be a pretty good college producer. Last week, we did talk about how he was underperforming as a passer, but he's still like, was he not drafted last time at all? Huh.
Nope.
Okay. Well, maybe I jumped the gun. But, not as a passer, but still almost put up like 160 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And the more I think about it, after this class, when you've got the NFL potential guys, Haney should be pretty high up there because he's going to play at Texas Christian, I think. They don't have a lot going on. I mean, Josh Hoover is starting games right now, and he's fine, but I don't think he's that great. He was a 3-star guy. I kind of liked his arm, but it's a little bit of a noodle. I don't think he's anything too special. So I think Haney gets on the field, at least in packages, maybe even very early as an athlete. So kind of like Avery Johnson is for Kansas State this year. So that's my pick. David, you're up next.
Rough out there, folks.
It gets tough.
I don't know. When in doubt, go with the tight end. I have a lot of these tight ends graded pretty closely. I'll just bring up a new name for me he's actually growing on me, and I might be too high on him, honestly. But Christian Betancourt for Clemson, we just kind of got done talking about how their offense has been kind of poopy, but I don't know, man. He's been producing super well. Like his final game of the year here, he just had 21 catches. Like they just like to feed this dude. And I don't have to worry about his size or anything. Like he's 6'5", 240 already. He's already like a 70th percentile athlete around there. I think he's like the one thing I noticed on his tape that he kind of has the thing that Brian Hartline talks about, where it's like when he catches he has a plan for like what he's gonna do after the catch, and he really like gets upfield, and he can make guys miss with some agility and with physicality by just breaking tackles as well. So is it like, I don't know if he has like a crazy upside, but kind of running out of guys right now, and I feel like he's pretty safe.
We are kind of running out of guys. All right, Matt, what's going on with you at 306?
All right. So last time I think you took him here. I think I told you, it's a bit too early, but I've actually come around a bit more. I'm going to be taking Ian Barry Johnson,
Oh,
my guy from the start. Then you kind of snagged him
yes.
for me, and now I'm backing over you. He's just He's fun. He's a really good player. Amari and Stewart transferred. They were teammates. He transferred out of the school, and now this year he's looked very good as the wide receiver one there. He has incredible ball skills. He's very shaky in the open field, a pretty good route runner, and I've even seen him playing the slot some this year. So maybe he will be the slot there at Wisconsin for future. I know they're super happy with him. He's the only wide receiver they offered. They got him early, and they shut it down. So I think they're also very high on him, and I think there's a good chance he's a really good college producer.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that was definitely my rationale early on, was like, if he's at Wisconsin in the Longo offense getting the slot, like, what are we waiting for? But that offense has not looked super great this year, but it's the first time they're transitioning personnel and all that. So I don't think we should just write off the offense right away. All right. So great pick. I love to see it. I really, really do. And where do I go from here? Actually, I was considering taking him right here anyway. So you jumped the gun on me. I think I'm going to go with, somebody that we've talked a little bit about being concerning for efficiency at the college level, or at the high school level this year. But he's looking, I mean, he has a good profile. We've talked about it before. And so Jason Patterson is a running back. We don't really love a lot of running backs in this class, but I still think, in college, he's going to Cincinnati. I think he can produce there for what we want on the college side, at least. And there's just not a lot of running backs that I have a lot of confidence is going to go to the NFL. He at least hits 200 pounds. He's extremely quick and fast, a little bit of a straight line guy, but yeah, give me Jason Patterson. Could be an early producer at Cincinnati, at least. David, you're up next.
So I'll go. We kind of touched on the Ohio State running backs last episode and how weird it is. I don't know. I'm just gonna I kind of like both of these dudes. I feel like Peoples still has he's a little more well-rounded. I think he's a converted receiver, so he actually has some decent, and he is over 200 pounds. I'll just go with James Peoples, and then hopefully he kind of gets enough volume to produce on the college side, and then we kind of cross our fingers for NFL.
All right. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like that's just what we're all going to be talking about whenever we draft a running back in this class. All right, Matt, I think that swings back onto you for 309.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of big name quarterbacks on the board here. People are probably yelling at us right now for not taking Aaron Noland or Luke Kromenhoek. I'm taking a quarterback, but it's not either of them. Ethan Grunkemeyer, quarterback going to Penn State. I think he has a really good arm. He did really good at the Elite 11 this year. He's had a pretty strong senior season on top of it. That Penn State offense is not great, but he's coming in at a good time where he could pretty easily be the successor to Drew Aller there.
I think that's pretty interesting. I'm just starting to wonder if it's like a James Franklin issue or what. Like that offense, I mean, Drew Aller was supposed to elevate that offense, and it is still trash. I mean, it's bad. So, I think Grunkemeyer is shown to be a pretty interesting prospect for sure. I just wonder about like production for what we are looking for. That continues to be a big concern. All right, so now we go to me. There is a guy. I mean, gosh, every running back I would want to take, it's probably too early. The quarterbacks, I did this last draft. Should I go back-to-back Cincinnati guys? Because I like their quarterback recruit as well. Or my guy, I don't think All right. I'll go another tight end. When in doubt, like David said, go tight end. We talked about him last week. He's having a nice season. Give me Gavin Hoffman. I don't know how high up he'll end up going. He's going to be very high for me. I think I've got him top 2 or 3 tight end in the class. And I don't know if he'll start to rise a little bit more, but, like we've said a million times, some places just produce tight ends. Iowa tight ends. I mean, give it to me. And he looks good as well anyway. All right. That swings around to David then.
So I don't think I have a quarterback to this point. So I'll just grab Kromenhoek. He's got some tools,
Okay.
solid arm, and he can move. And Florida State's a pretty good offense to be in. I'm still really put off by his Elite 11 pro day performance. Like Matt and I were watching it on Instagram Live, and I don't know. I swear to God, I think he choked. I think he got nervous, and he just started spraying the ball everywhere. I don't know what happened. But it's a very small data point. And his senior production really hasn't taken much of a leap either, and he's already old for the class too. So, but you know what? There is talent there, so hopefully they can get him straightened out over there in Florida State.
All right. I mean, that was a guy at different points we were talking about him as a top, I think how we talk about Lagway now in terms of tools and all this stuff. And I know he did fall off a little bit. Okay. Matt, go 3-12, finish out the third, and then you can go right into the fourth round.
All right. I'm going to go Mazeo Bennett here, wide receiver, South Carolina. He's probably just has, the biggest dog in this class, to me at least. I mean, he's a dog on the field. He's a really smart kid, a 4.8 GPA. He blocks his heart out. He has amazing ball skills. I think there's just a ton to like about him. I think, he has the mental traits at least to get into day 2, just because, he's such a grinder. He's got the athletic ability. I think he's 80th percentile in our database, 4.47 40. So he passes that too. And I think he's got a really well-rounded skill set on top of it. And, he's definitely going to be able to come in there and play a very different role than Nicholas Harbor does for them. He has experience, in the slot, out wide, and even in the backfield. So I think they'll find a way to get him on the field. And he's just definitely the type of guy I'd want to root for there. And then next up, I think I'll go Nitarian Nitro Tuggle to Georgia.
Okay,
he has one of the more fun highlight tapes of wide receiver this year in this class. Extremely good after the catch, dead legging people everywhere. May not have the best ball skills, or at least not consistently. I have seen him make a couple one-handed grabs, I think, but in the games I've watched, a lot of body catches. He wasn't overly physical and trying to get the ball at times, and not super refined, but I think he has potential there. I think he's extremely flexible for a wide receiver of his size. I think 6'3", 190-ish around there. So I think there's a lot to like with the athletic profile. Georgia has been, not an awful spot, at least for passing this year. So maybe he can come in and carve out a role for himself there. So, I'm pretty comfortable taking him, this late.
Okay. All right. Interesting stuff there. I mean, Tuggle continues to be one of those guys where it's like we're always debating, do we bet on the skills and the raw talent who show up raw and hope it develops? Maybe he will pop. That could be a very fun one. All right. So now it is my turn. Or no, it's going David. Oh, yeah, because we're reversing. All right, David, you're up 4.02.
All right. I'll go with here's a new name that I haven't really. I was watching senior tape on this guy recently. Malcolm Simmons. He looks pretty interesting to me. I don't know. I don't really like any of the receivers that Auburn has right now. I don't think they really have any difference makers. So I think that trio, honestly, of Walker White, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, I think those 3 guys could honestly all contribute right away. It'll be interesting to see, but He's like super explosive. He's kind of similar. I felt like he was like a little bit similar to like Cam Williams, but I thought he actually like moved a little bit better. Probably he doesn't have the same top end speed, I guess, but super fluid and like really agile, I thought. Kind of question is like I didn't really see any like crazy catches or anything like that. He was mostly like a yak guy and he's a little bit raw, but he's pretty awesome on special teams too. So he kind of has that in his back pocket, which I like.
Yeah, always love special teams, especially for wide receiver guys. Okay, brand new name right there, Malcolm Simmons. I don't think we've talked about him at all. And I'm prepared to do another brand new name, a guy who's fairly highly rated by the services, but a guy that I don't think any of us have talked about a whole lot. But honestly, like I said, we it's hard for us to find a running back to get excited about, but I think this guy has not been on my radar too much because of size. So he's 5'9", 195. But going to a premium school and a running back by the name of Caden Durham, who hits 21.9 on his max miles per hour and really doesn't look, he's looks like he's got some side to side ability, some agility. And so, going to LSU, crazy top speed. I mean, 21.9, about as good as you'll see. I wish he was over 200 pounds, of course, but I think we can deal with this. And interesting little prospect. I don't feel like we've talked about maybe enough. Maybe it's a guy we need to kind of reevaluate. At least I think that I do. When that 21.9, I mean, that you can't ignore that. All right, Matt, over to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go, easy pick here. He's been sliding on my board. Aaron Noland, pretty big fall from the last time, minus 33.
33.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he had a pretty rough start to the season. I think he's been okay since then, but even still, I mean, he's just he's just a bit boring for me, I guess. He has doesn't have a huge arm. He kind of plays very within his scheme, I guess I'll say. And even still, then with the conservative play style, he had some very rough points this season. So I think that's why he was dropped for us. I think here, though, Ohio State quarterback in the 4th round. Is he the next multi-year starter? Probably not, but there's a chance. Who knows?
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, you got to at least give some credit to your initial evaluation there. All right, David, you're up with 4.05.
I'll just go with, I've already talked about him in previous shows. Michael Smith, tight end, going to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked about him quite a bit.
We like him. All right, I'll make it quick. A guy I've definitely said I liked before quite a bit. I think 4th round's about right, even though we, he might be trending a little bit down in his senior season, but Kewan Lacey. So I'm kind of stacking running backs here at the end, but one of my favorite tape, experiences or examples this year, and he decommitted from Nebraska, which I kind of think means we're going to get a better landing spot, because right now Nebraska is just a disaster on offense. I'm not sure if we can be very excited about them improving. So maybe he'll wind up at a more interesting landing spot. I think he's getting some sniffed around by some good programs. So we'll see. But yeah, it looks like it was about right around there last time as well. Matt, you're up.
I'll go Chauncey Bowens here, running back to Georgia. At this point, I think
him at all yet. Look at that.
No, everyone's been on Frazier, but I think now I prefer him over Frazier. Athletically, he's probably a bit superior. Production-wise, he's been better. I don't like how crowded the Georgia RB room is, obviously, but he definitely has day 2 upside. So there's that. He'll probably be a CFF dud, though.
Yeah. All right, David, 4.08.
4.08. I will go with, I'll mix it up again here. We haven't talked about him. Aeneas Williams. He just hit 132 career touchdowns. Super mega producer at the high school level. And I think I'm out on Keedron Young now all of a sudden, just because his production's been so bad. I guess he's bad. I mean, so it's like I know that Aeneas Williams, he probably has better agility for sure, and definitely is a better pass catcher. He's got some pretty crazy production in the passing game. So probably not quite. He's probably like a similar type. I don't know if he's like super efficient as a runner, but I don't know. He does have kind of like a three down skill set, and his athletic percentile is pretty solid too. So
All right. Well, that's sounds good. I've got 2 more picks, and I think I'm gonna just keep stacking some running backs and hope that we're wrong on some of these guys. But one guy I actually have rated kind of high. He also hits a nice top end speed of 21.7, and I think he's going to a pretty fantasy friendly landing spot. Like I said, I think we're past some obvious NFL names. Frankie Arthur going to UCF. I like his tape. He's big enough, and he's hits 21.7 top line speed. I think he could be a guy that you see on the field pretty quickly at UCF, honestly, because a guy that we liked a year or 2 ago, like name escapes me, but he's like not gone on the field at all.
Jordan McDonald, heartbreaker.
Yeah, and is he now a sophomore, second year guy, or
yes, I think so. Freshman or sophomore.
He's a second year guy. He's never seen the field, and they have no problem running out lighter running backs, and Arthur's a little bit light, but I think for fantasy for college he should be pretty exciting. So Matt, on to you. 4.10.
Yeah, I'll just take Jordan Lyle here.
Yep.
We've been talking about it a ton lately, so I don't want to get too much into it. It's between him and Peoples there for Ohio State. I probably like Lyle slightly more. Both are good backs, though.
All right, there we go. David, take us home. 411. I guess not us home, but take yourself home. 411.
Geez, am I gonna take another tight end? I guess Caleb Odom. Did anyone take him? I don't think he's taken. I'm starting to think he might be a tweener. When I look at him, I don't know. I just kind of question how big he's going to get a little bit. Like I think he's kind of like a Bryson Nesbitt type guy. Maybe I don't know. There's like some ambiguity I feel like on his position, and that's kind of what's pushing him down my board a little bit. But like he's definitely athletic. He's definitely good at football. It's just like so if he can put the weight on, then I think he has an NFL upside. So I'll just take him here.
All right. That sounds good. And I'm looking at this athlete sheet that we work off of in the background sometimes. You guys have added some interesting names that like don't even have commitments that are going to probably be late risers to the game. So I'm excited to dig into some of those. And, maybe we're going to have some brand new guys next time we do this mock. Maybe some brand new first round guys in this mock. But sticking to the mock at hand, who is my Mr. Irrelevant? Let's just go. Samaj Jones headed to Cincinnati, another quarterback I like betting on. His skills, his tools, and we've talked about it before. I mean, there's just not a lot going on after Emory Jones on that depth chart. So, they may bring in a transfer for a year, but I think Jones, either as a freshman or certainly as a sophomore, has a real good chance to take the reins over in Cincinnati.
Brady Drogish.
Oh gosh, Joe Drogish, but
we do this every time.
You're right, because I forget about him because I guess he's just not doing anything. But Emory Jones is playing well enough. But yes, Drogish, I know a lot of people like. I was not that high on him myself, so we'll see if I'm right. We'll pressure test that evaluation. But give me Samaj Jones, and that'll do it. As you can see here, yeah, first two rounds, a lot of green boxes, meaning guys rising up. And the third and fourth round, some NAs, quite a bit of NAs, meaning guys we did not draft in the previous draft at all, and a lot of red boxes, some double-digit reds as we got down into the fourth round. So kind of we're all holding our nose and taking our medicine with some of these guys who have been fallers. We'll see. We'll keep doing this and see how often those guys maybe just fall out completely as we continue to find other guys that we might want to prop up. So, all right, gents, thank you so much. We did another mock in the books. This was the second half of mock 4, and we will be back with some new content next week. Good night, everybody. This has been The Official.